belief is what it takes. Belief is where everything starts from. And then having a dream, having a goal, having a reason, and then working towards it every single day is where it all starts from. How's everybody doing today? Happy Wednesday, October 28th. I hope everybody's having an awesome morning so far. It's a beautiful day out. It's a beautiful week. It's a beautiful month. We're wrapping up a beautiful year. Got a few months left here. I'm going to share a message with you that I shared with my team yesterday. I absolutely love this message. It brings chills to me, and I really want to share it with everybody. As everybody knows, there's a World Series going on. And for those of you that heard this yesterday, I apologize for the repeat, but I think it's important to share with the team because these things really mean something. This is where all your change comes from. This is where all of your dreams, all of your certainty, all of your belief, everything that you want, this is where it all comes from. So I want to share a story with you about what's going on in the World Series. And for those of you who don't know baseball, I'm sorry if I lose you for a minute here, but this message is not about baseball. Baseball is just the method for me to get this across to you, to be able to share this information with you. So let me jump in and share with you. I'm going to get into my plan for today, but it's going to start off with, what's the World Series have to do with me? Chris, why are you telling me about baseball? What does this have anything to do with me? So for those of you who don't know the World Series, the Rays and the Dodgers, last night the Rays lost Game 6, but 4 nights ago on a Saturday night, something absolutely amazing happened. It was one of the most amazing moments in baseball history, and it doesn't even have to do with baseball for why it was this absolutely amazing. So for those of you who don't know, the Rays, the way that they play baseball is they are a strategic team. They don't have a huge budget. Their budget was like $28 million, and 3 of the Dodgers players earned more than $28 million, just 3 players out of the whole roster. So the Rays shuffle players around, they bring in new players, they develop talent. It's a pretty amazing story to see how they got there. And so a couple nights ago on Saturday night,
expected is waiting around for your bank to send you a debit card in the mail. Unexpected is ordering.
A couple nights ago on Saturday night, the Rays came in and they're facing a loss. They're coming down to the end of the game. It's coming to the bottom of the 9th inning. They're down in the series 2-1, which is the best of 7 series. So they're ultimately losing. They haven't been able to hit the ball at all. They just could not get anything going, no momentum, no anything until the 9th inning. And they're coming down to the 9th inning, and it's their last chance. Absolute last chance for them to do anything, for them to have a chance at winning this game at all. They end up with 2 runners on, a runner on first and second, 2 outs, and 2 strikes on the batter. But before that, what happens here? You got the Rays who have absolutely nobody left on their field. Nobody left to put up to the plate except a 26-year-old kid who's only been with the team since August, was not even on the roster prior to the World Series. He wasn't even playing on their roster for the League Championship Series to get to the World Series. So the way the Rays play is they shuffle people around, they use a lot of players, they move everything, they change pitchers regularly to try and stay on top of things. They literally had used everybody they possibly had on their team, and they were left with one player who just joined the team in August, who'd only had 3 or 4 at-bats with the team. He'd only played with them for a very short period of time. His batting average was 200 for this past year. He was with a team before he joined the Rays, and that means 1 out of every 5 times he came up to the plate, he would get a hit. And what I want you to see is he comes up, he is the absolute last person that the Rays want to have in this position. And this video it's going to be about 2.5 to 3 minutes, and we're going to watch through. I might stop it once or twice just to kind of give you a little bit of perception of what's actually going on. But this guy coming up to the plate is the absolute last person the Rays want to have in this position. They could think of 27 other people on their roster that they would want to have in this position, but this is the one guy that they have left, the only one that they can put up to bat right at this moment. His only previous experience with this team has been pinch running. I think he's pinch hit like once or twice, only had 3 at-bats. So let's watch what happens in the bottom of the 9th, where you have somebody who's barely played, never really been with the team. The Rays are pretty much, it's all hopes and prayers at this point, because it's the last person they wanted to have.
The Rays are going to ask for the biggest hit in the life of Brett Phillips. Traded to Tampa Bay from Kansas City. Hit under 200 with both organizations this year, hit 2 home runs.
Under 200 with both organizations. That means less than 1 out of every 5 times he got to the plate, he got a hit. Less than that, less than 1 out of every 5 times he got to the plate, he would get a hit.
The 26-year-old outfielder. Now the question's going to be is, will he think his best chance is on the first pitch? Will he be aggressive? What a moment. Not on the roster during the LCS. Added for the World Series, and here he is. Ball 1 inside from Jansen.
Yeah, not on the roster, was not with the team prior to the World Series. This guy's literally, they brought him up just as an average, because they allow you to add a few extra players when you go to the World Series. They allow you to expand your roster. So when they expanded their roster, say, hey, we got some room, why don't we bring this guy in?
Not too many people sitting down. Phillips. That caught the corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Born in Florida, trying to deliver for Tampa Bay. Tying run at second, winning run at first. 2 out in the 9th. Outside corner, strike 2. Real close. Phillips got a fight now. 2 strikes.
So we are bottom of the 9th, 2 runners on, 2 outs, 2 strikes. This is literally your last strike chance to swing the bat, to get a runner in, to give yourself any chance to win this game. This is what they put in the movies, like bottom of the 9th, 2 on, 2 outs, 2 strikes, last chance. And here's what happens.
Jansen. That is into center field. Here comes Kiermaier. Phillips has tied the game. Arose Arena coming around. Throw home. Now he stumbles. But the ball gets away. Tampa Bay wins it. Brett Phillips, game 4 hero.
That's the image I want to leave you with. 26-year-old kid. last man they ever wanted in that position as far as an organization goes, just added to the roster. And this 26-year-old kid came up and you heard hero. So here's what you don't know. This 26-year-old kid 10 years ago was sitting in Florida, in Seminole, Florida, where he went to high school, watching the Tampa Bay Rays play in a World Series 10 years ago. And he was sitting there, a baseball player, loved the game, and was just so enthralled with the team and what he believed in himself that he visualized himself playing with the Rays in a World Series. He visualized himself winning a game, hitting a game-winning hit, playing for and helping this team win a World Series. A team that he played 30 minutes from 10 years ago. 10 years ago, he believed in himself so much that he said, I'm going to play baseball. I'm going to become a part of a Major League Baseball team. I'm going to help the Rays, and visualized himself helping this team win a World Series. The last man the Rays ever thought they would want in this position is the guy that they put up. That's the absolute best person they should have had in this position, because he believed in himself. He visualized this 10 years ago and saw it happening and worked every single day for the last 10 years to make it to this, so it's a part of this. 2 months ago, it wasn't even a thought in his mind, because he was not even really on the team. He had just joined, but he wasn't playing with them. He really wasn't even playing on their roster. So 2 months ago, 2 weeks ago, he wasn't even on their roster. And he came up and he had absolute certainty that I'm going to prove everybody wrong. And that's exactly what he did. And why is this so important? Because belief is what it takes. Belief is where everything starts from. And then having a dream, having a goal, having a reason, and then working towards it every single day is where it all starts from. If you don't have enough belief in yourself that you can do this, if you don't believe and have absolute certainty in yourself that I'm the person for this job, this is my reason, this is my purpose, this is what I'm doing. If you don't have that, then you need to find a way to get that. You need to get a bigger reason, a bigger purpose, more emotion involved. We need to get you to push past those limiting beliefs that you have and start getting some absolute certainty in who you are and what you should be doing. He's like, but Chris, I don't play baseball. I mean, he was playing baseball his whole life. It has nothing to do with skill and talent, because talent's only going to get you so far. Skill's only going to get you so far. The saying is hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. So I don't care how talented you are. I don't care what anybody said about you. I do not care about any of that, because if you're the one who's going to show up and put the work and the effort in, no one has the right to stop you. No one has the right to take that away from you. You need to wake up every single day with that belief that this is what I'm here for. This is what I'm doing. And you get your ass out there and you do it, and you put enough work and effort into it, and you're going to start creating change every single day. Those changes that you're creating will be uncomfortable at first, but every single day when you wake up and put that work and effort in, you're creating a new habit. Those new changes are going to bring on new levels. Those new levels are going to bring on new challenges and new struggles, which means you got to wake up and you got to go to work harder and put more effort in every single day to create more change. Your only competition is who your best person is tomorrow. That's the only person you should be competing against. And that's what this story is all about. He knew that this is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do, with such absolute reason, purpose, and certainty that he went to work every single day, and he practiced and practiced and practiced, and he wasn't the best. And no one looked at him as if he was the best. They didn't pay him like he was the best, because he wasn't. But in his mind, he may not have been the best baseball player, but he was the best person to have in that position. And that's the belief you have to have in yourself to be able to get to that next level, to be able to achieve greater, to be able to do more, to be able to make change. So that's what my focus is for today. And let's go back. I'm going to talk a little bit more about these changes, about creating these changes. So when you're trying to be successful and you're trying to make changes and you're going through uncomfort, Here's the keys that you have to have in place. These are the things you need to focus on. We can't be focusing on all the reasons that you didn't do it, everybody who's saying no to you, everybody who's told you you're not good enough, everybody who basically brought you onto the roster because they had a little bit of extra space. None of that matters. You go out and you prove them wrong with these keys. The keys here is you have to know your outcome. Did Brett Phillips know his outcome? Did a 26-year-old kid who 10 years before was sitting there watching saying, I'm going to be doing that. That is my dream. That is what I'm going to be doing. Did he know his outcome? Absolutely. He knew exactly what it was that he wanted. He saw it, and then he made even more power out of it. He visualized it. He pictured himself wearing a Rays uniform, standing on that field, swinging a bat in the World Series, getting a hit, helping that team win. He pictured that, visualized it, and then he went out and worked for it every day. You have to know your outcome. I said this yesterday. Before you do anything, if you're going to have a wedding, what do? You create a plan. If you are going to the grocery store, what do? You create a list, you create a plan, you know why you're going there, you know what you're going for. If you're going to be better in business, you have to do the same things. You have a plan. If you want to lose weight, you create a plan. And what is the main purpose and main thing in that plan? You have to know what you want. You have to, if I'm planning for a wedding, what do I want? I want to get married. So let's put a plan together. You have to know what it is that you want. If I'm going to the grocery store, I've got to know what I'm going for. I'm going because I need things to make for dinner tonight. That's the outcome that I want, to come home with everything that I need. And then you put a list together and create a plan. If you want to lose weight, I need to know what the outcome is. I need to lose 10 pounds in 30 days to be able to feel the most amazing, whatever that is. And then we create a plan from there. But you have to know the outcome. Without the outcome, nothing else matters. If you don't know what you want, nothing else matters, right? If you go and just buy a car and you have no idea what you're going to buy, and you just show up on the lot and wander aimlessly, how likely are you to end up with a car? And if you do, how likely are you to end up in a good position where you love the car, love your outcome, and everything's great? And how likely are you to talk about that car, to be confident about that car? You're not. If you know exactly what car it is that you want, and you know the outcome is to get this car, and this is what I want, and that's why I'm going to get it. That's where it all comes from. Nothing else matters from there. So know your outcome. What do you want in this business? Do you want to be a one sale a month kind of person, to do 12 deals a year and earn $50,000 to $70,000 because that's twice the average income for most people? That's great. There's nothing wrong with that. But what is it that you want? Do you want to be in the top 5 in your office? Do you want to be in the top 5 in your company? Do you want to earn more money than anybody else in your family's ever done? Do you want to have success? Do you want to be recognized at a corporate event, like at a top agent event? Do you want to be on one of our top producers? Do you want to go to a top agent event? What do you want? You have to know what it is you want. So start thinking about that. Figure it out. What do I want out of this business? Because if not, if you don't know that, you're just wandering aimlessly through the day, wandering aimlessly through the things that you're doing. Without knowing what you want, it just ends up being meaningless. You end up going in circles, wondering, why am I not getting this? Why am I not getting that? You start comparing yourself to everybody else. You say, this is where I'm at. This is real life. But this is where everybody else is at, and you see this big gap in between, and you start feeling like you're missing something and you're not doing something and something doesn't feel right, and then you get frustrated, and then from frustration you start just going down a spiral and you don't end up doing the things you need to do. So know your outcome. What do you want? That is an absolute key to success, and you just saw that from a 16-year-old kid who knew what he wanted and went out and practiced and played and did it every single day until he got it. Next, key to success, know your reasons why. Why are you doing it? I don't know why exactly Brett Phillips was doing it, but if you see the look on his face in his interviews, that is the reason why. If you see him talking with his players, if you see him running around airplaning through the field, that is the reason why. He pictured himself as a hero. He saw himself looking there saying, I want to help this team be better. I want to be the best person, best player, and I want to be a part of a bigger organization and do more. But you have to know your reason why. Why are you doing it? And your why is always going to come before the how. So you have to know why. Why do you want to earn this income? Why do you want to have that many sales? Why do you want to be a top agent? What does it mean to you? What is the meaning it's going to give you? What is that fulfillment you're going to get? What is the achievement you're going to get? How will you feel? Close your eyes right now and think of how it would feel at the end of this year, next year, whatever that is, how it would feel at the end of next year to know that you achieved everything you set out to do. I want to earn $250,000. I want to be in the top 5 in my office. I want to be on stage at a top agent event, giving a speech or talking to someone, whatever those things are. Close your eyes and really think about it and get that feeling of fulfillment. Get that feeling of they're telling you everything that you've done and you're talking about it and you're making an impact and helping somebody else and providing inspiration to somebody else. Why are you doing it? Do you have a kid that needs to go to college? Do you need a new car? Do you need a new home? What would it mean to be able to buy a home if you don't already have one? What would it mean to be able to do that? You got to focus on those things. And as a 16-year-old kid sitting in a high school classroom or sitting at home watching a World Series game, do you not think that he had some energy? Do you not think that he had some emotion invested in that, saying, that's what I want? Have passion, knowing that I'm going to get out and do it. And every time he felt like quitting, he picked the bat back up. He picked his glove back up. He picked the ball back up. He probably went down to the batting cages. He went back out and did some more. So you got to know why you're doing it, because that's where your drive is going to come from. That's where that purpose is going to come from. That's where the reasons are going to come from that push through all the BS, all of the problems, all of the issues. Because I know you all have problems in your business. I know we all have appraisal issues, financing issues, buyer issues, problem seller issues. I know you all have them, right? But the purpose and reasons and that why and that feeling of the accomplishment at the end of reaching your goal is going to push you through all of those things. It's going to help you get over that. So you got to know your reason why. Take next key to success. Once you get these in place and you have your outcome and your reasons why and your business plan put together, take action. Here's the key. Let me give you a little key for creating momentum towards this. When you set a goal, know your outcome, when you know what that is and you write it down and you know clearly what it is you want, and you create that feeling and that reason and that purpose as to why you're doing it, and you put all of that together, what's the first thing you should do from there? Is it to go sit down and strategize? Is it to go sit down, let's write down some more things, let's kind of brainstorm? No, the first thing you should do is take action towards your goal. Whatever it is you set out to do and you said you're going to do it immediately, because your brain is already in this peak state, already in this state where you're saying, this is what I want, this is why I want it, this is what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this on and do it right then. That's one of the reasons why a lot of these people in any conference or any convention or any sales pitch, they're telling you to buy now, buy now, buy now. They don't want you to go home and think about it and talk about it. Why? Because what they're offering you could absolutely change your life, could absolutely be the best thing for you right in that moment. And if you go home and you think about it, you're going to get back into your normal patterns. And your normal patterns are not doing what you're supposed to do, not showing up, not putting in the same kind of energy, not being in that peak state, not feeling like you're worth it. That's the normal patterns for most people. So they don't want you going back to those normal patterns, because if you go back to those normal patterns, you're not going to take action towards a goal or something you said you really wanted. So when you set that goal, when you have that reason, when you have that outcome, and you have that feeling, take massive action. Take some type of action immediately so we can start building momentum towards that. Same kind of thing. Do you not think after watching that World Series game as a 16-year-old kid, I'm telling you, the first thing he probably did was he's standing there with a ball, a glove, and a bat in his hand while he's watching that, one or the other or all three, while he's watching that, going through motions, visualizing, picturing, practicing, doing those things. I'm telling you, that's what it takes to be amazing. That's what it takes to be outstanding. That's what it takes to be on top. You cannot give 70% and expect to have everything that you want. You got to be willing to give 121% every single time. You have to be willing to, because if you're only given 70%, How many other people out there are giving 70%? I can tell you the most everybody else out there is only out there giving 70%. They're not taking massive action. They're just showing up. And it's not good enough to just show up anymore. It used to be fine. You used to be able to show up, do your job, go home, work there for this long, do this for that much, get a pension, have a retirement, kick back, put your feet up, and enjoy life. That's not how it works anymore, unfortunately. In the age that we're in, everybody knows everything about everything that everybody's doing. So you can't just show up. If you show up, you're going to be caught in all the minutiae, and you're just going to be another face, another name. You have to show up. You have to take action. You have to put the most amount of energy and effort into it every single day. And you need to realize that the only person you're competing with is the person of how good you can be tomorrow. That's who you got to compete with. Today, I have to be as good as I can be. Why? Because the only person I'm competing with is the person that's going to show up tomorrow. The awesome person in me that's going to show up tomorrow. I'm going to be better than I am today tomorrow. So let me kick my own ass today. So tomorrow I can show up and do the same thing. That's your only competition. It doesn't matter what anybody else says. Then your keys to success, once you have this, once you've got that baseline and you take some action and you start getting momentum, now you've got some momentum. Now you're moving towards your goal. Now you've got that going. The next thing you got to do is you got to notice what you're getting. You got to know what's working, know what's not working, have enough wherewithal to understand what's coming in, what's going out. Is it maximizing your efforts? Is it working? Are you getting the things that you need to get? The saying is, if you keep running east looking for a sunset, I don't care how much effort you put in. I don't care how hard you work. I don't care how many days you show up, how many hours you work. You're never going to get there because that's just impossible. So you have to know what you're getting. You got to be able to say, okay, this didn't work. What should I be doing from there? How can I switch that? Start finding and coordinating. This is where questions become very, very key. The key to changing your life is asking yourself a certain question, asking yourself better questions. So if you're not getting what you want, ask yourself a better question. Not, why is this not working? Because your brain is going to find the reason it's not working. It's going to tell you exactly why it's not working. Because you didn't do what you said you were going to do. Because everybody else told you this. Because it's going to find a reason. Your brain does not want to be proved wrong. How many people like being wrong? Not me. So my wife will tell you that too. I don't like being wrong. So, but your brain is going to find a reason to prove you right, which is, why is this not working? It's going to prove to you why it's not working. So you have to know why, notice what you're getting, and ask yourself a powerful question. Ask yourself a strong, empowering question that's going to get you to that next step. All right, this didn't work. What can you ask yourself? What kind of questions could you say to yourself? If you have some time and you want to, put something in the chat. Go into your chat and put in, what kind of questions could you ask yourself, or could you say to yourself if what you're doing wasn't working? How about something like, how can I change my schedule around to maximize my efforts more to get a better result that leads me closer to my outcome? Is that a better question than, why is this not working? What's your brain going to start looking for? Your brain's going to start, how can I change my schedule to maximize my effort to get closer to my goal? Your brain's going to start looking for ways that you can change your schedule to maximize your efforts and output to get closer to your goal. That's what your brain's going to start looking for. The reticular activating system, you start showing it what's important to you, show your brain what's important to you, and it starts looking for it. Your brain's just a machine. It's the most efficient machine. The human body is the most efficient machine ever built. Your brain is going to do work for you. It's going to be working for you behind the scenes. So tell yourself something different. Hang on a second. I got to pull it because I'm being honest with myself and others. Very good. So questions, the questions that we ask ourselves are key. So notice what you're getting. Ask yourself better questions. So that if you're not doing well with say, for example, if you're not doing well with your prospecting, don't ask yourself, why are my conversations sucking? They're going to find a reason. So how can I make better use of my time and learn my scripts a little bit more to make sure that my conversations end up better? Okay, well, you're going to find you can get a script partner, you can get someone to practice with, you can role play, you can do anything like that. So it's going to find those reasons. And then the last thing is, not everything's going to work, and that's okay. As long as you know it's not working, ask yourself a powerful question that's going to help you change the approach. I know it sounds so simple, but how many of us do not change what we're doing even though we know we're not doing the right thing? How many of us know we're not getting what we want? We know we're not making progress. We know we're not getting towards that goal. We know we haven't had good conversations. We know we haven't talked to enough people. We know we haven't sent out enough mailers. We haven't knocked on enough doors. We know we haven't done any of that, but none of us change our approach. We keep doing the same thing over and over again, hoping for a better result. Because why? Because we're taking action and it makes us feel better because we did something. Unfortunately, we're doing a lot, but not getting a lot done. And you're confusing the movement that you did throughout the day with progress, and you're not making progress. Progress equals happiness. Anytime you're not making progress in your life, you're not going to be happy. So if you're not making progress in your business, we have to start going through these steps. Go back to the beginning, know your outcome. If you don't know your outcome, that's where we start. If once we know your outcome, know your reasons why you're doing it, let's get some reason, purpose, and feeling in there. Literally sit down and visualize the outcome that you want. See it, feel it, create it in your mind as if it's already there and already a part of your life, and insert yourself into that life. From there, and when you're in that state and have that feeling, take some type of action. Take an action, because that's going to be the most rewarding steps you can take. Your brains are going to go, see, I told you you can do it. Look at that. Let's do more. Then you have to know this, what you're getting. If it's not working anymore, it's not getting the results that you want. Do we need to change the approach? And if you need help with any of this, this is what a coach is for. These are the things that a coach is going to help you with, even for knowing the outcome. You have to know your outcome, but we can sit down and ask you questions as to where you're at, what you're doing. What do you really want? What's important to you? Let's talk about something. The same way you talk to a buyer, trying to get them to the outcome of what kind of house they want, where they want to live, where they want to be. We do the same things with you and your business in your life and where you want, to see how we can help you get there, and then put this plan together to get there. So that's the most important thing for us here, is to have these keys to success. And I just put a couple sayings here just to kind of reiterate some of the things we talked about. Success is not convenient. You have to be willing to do what is required of you to achieve that success. And most of us don't know what it is that's required, or we're not willing to put in the effort that's required of us because of the mindset that we carry, because of the beliefs we have about ourselves. If Brett Phillips with the Rays did not believe in himself and did not think it was possible, and just sat there and watched the World Series and said, well, that'd be nice. I hope that'd be really, but I'm never going to get there. I'm good, but I don't know if I'm that good. He's not going to have that same kind of outcome. So you need to be willing to do what's required of you, which is you have to put all of those steps into place. You really have to sit down and make it real. That's the foundation of getting everything that you want. Then you got to hold the line, maintain your standards. So you've got to change. The belief that you have in yourself is going to create a certain standard. If I asked every single one of you, how many people in this room, if I could see you, how many people here go to the gym, how many people work out, you'd raise your hand, and I'd ask you, well, how often do you work out? You'd be able to see that, because that is your standard. If you told me you work out 6 days a week, I would be able to see that in you, because that is your standard. That's who you are. It's a belief that you have about yourself and a standard that you created. You created it in your physical life. You can create it in your business life. You can create it in anything, but you have to create a belief in certainty and then maintain a standard of who that is that you want to become, which is why all of those keys to success really become powerful, because you can implement them all together. Holding a line, maintaining that standard, is like you cannot waver from that. And again, that's why having a coach is good, because we're going to give you a good kick in the ass when you need it. We're going to give you a pat on the back when you need it. We're going to be right there cheering for you when you need it. We're going to be giving you those things that you need on a weekly basis, or as often as you commit to coaching with us, to make sure that we're holding that line and maintaining that standard to try and push you to be a little better. And then also just realizing that the momentum is the key. So you're taking massive action towards something, and you have to see this. You got to be able to sit down and look and say, look, these couple seconds that I put in now are going to turn into a few minutes. These few minutes turn into hours, hours into days, days into months, months into years. The next thing you know, you're going to have everything that you set out to get. And you hear everybody talking. You heard Thomas Simmons say yesterday, you know, I set a primary aim. Maybe it was yesterday or it was in a meeting that we had the other day. I had a primary aim and I'm pretty much knocking everything off of that list. Everything that I had on there, except for one or two things, is getting knocked off. So you're seeing the people that live by this creed, that live by this solid foundation, achieving those things. It's not by chance. It's actually by design. So if you're able to sit down and say, I'm just going to commit today to a few seconds, a few minutes of doing this, build a little momentum. Those couple minutes turn into next week, I'm going to do an hour. Next week, hour turns into a couple days, days turns into months. And next thing you know, 6 months into it, you're a fully productive real estate agent earning, or at least with a full pipeline of business that's going to put you exactly where you need to be. So you've got to sit down and let's get down to the basics, and realizing that you're not going to feel like it every day. You're not always going to want to do it, but there's no magic pill. You're not going to take a magic pill where everything just goes away and all of these feelings go away, all of the disgust goes away. It's not going to go away. You have to maintain and hold the line. You've got to hold that standard, create a new standard that is not the person that I want to be anymore. That is not the life that I'm going to live. This is the way that I am. So even when you don't feel like it, that meaning and purpose that we created where we visualize the outcome, that's what's going to drive you on the days that you don't want to do it. You're going to sit back and we're going to recreate that meaning and that feeling and that emotion. We're going to get you pushing to that next step. You're not always going to feel like it. Nobody does. I don't feel like going to the gym every day. I don't feel like waking up every day. I don't feel like going for a walk every day. I don't feel like going through my steps of gratitude every single day and visualizing my goals every day. I don't feel like it every day. But I do it anyway because I know what the outcome is and I know what the reason is. And I know when I do those things, I will be a better person. If you know that every time you did something, you would get a specific result, would you do it? If you knew that every time you picked up the phone and called a seller, they were going to list with you, would you do it? Absolutely you would. Absolutely you should. But it's the same way with, I know that when I sit down and do these things that I don't want to do, I know what the result is and I know what the outcome is and I know what I'm going to do and I know how I'm going to feel. So I do it anyway. And then also stop comparing yourselves to everyone else. It's not their dream. It's not their outcome. It's not their purpose. It's not their reason why. You were not meant to live somebody else's life. You're meant to live your life. You're meant to do your level of business. You're meant to have your outcomes. You just have to create them. Stop creating goals that are in line with what you think other people want. And I'm just as guilty as everybody else is. I sit down and when I'm trying to create goals, I'm looking at all the things that other people have. Oh, that'd be kind of cool. But it may not mean anything to me. So I really have to be cognizant to sit down and say, what really means something to me? What makes me full? What fills me up? And start creating some goals from there. Next, I don't want to get too much into this, but I'll just kind of breeze through this. Again, the same kind of, how are you creating that certainty that this, Brett Phillips with the Rays, a 16-year-old kid watching the World Series. So how do you create that belief and that certainty inside of you that everything that you want and this is what I deserve and this is what I'm going to get? How do you create that and where's the power in that? This is your success cycle. Knowing what your belief is creates a potential in you that gives you just an immense advantage over everybody else when you believe that these things are possible and you can do it and this is what you were meant for. And from that belief, that potential creates a better action, which creates better results, which reinstills that belief of, see, you're freaking amazing. I knew you could do it. I told you you could. So the belief is just that feeling of absolute certainty about what something means to you. And the unfortunate side is you can have empowering or limiting beliefs. And most of us don't even realize the limiting beliefs that are affecting us on a daily basis, that are constantly pecking at the back of our brain, telling us something about ourselves that's not true, but it's something that we made up and we started to believe because at some point somebody said something to us or something happened and that feeling inside of us stuck and we just said, oh, I guess that's who I am or what I am. but at some point you decided that that's who you were going to be or what you're going to accept. And right now you need to decide and accept that you're going to be better than that. And you can be more than that. You can be anything that you want. You know, you're not a tree. Move. You can leave, you can do anything that you want. You're not stuck where you are. And just like you're not any other animal, you have the power of choice, you have the power of decision. Every result that you're getting in your life right now is because of a certain belief that you have about yourself. If you believed something better about yourself, the results you got would have been different. That's just a fact. You know, how do you change these though? So anytime you want to make a change in your belief, you need to have three things. So like if I said to somebody, hey, why don't you, do you want a cigarette? And you say, no. I said, well, why not? And you're like, because I'm not a smoker. That's a belief. That's an identity. That's a belief in your identity. I'm not a smoker. And if you wanted to change that, like if you were a smoker and you needed to change that, you would be saying, you need to come up with these three things. It must change now. I must change it now, and I can change it now. And you're creating a new standard. But again, when you're doing these, you have to have what's called leverage. In order to make those changes, you need to get some leverage, which is basically pain and pleasure. You need to have enough pleasure that's driving you towards something and enough pain that's going to be pushing you away from something. It's too painful to keep doing this, and it's too pleasurable for, it's too painful if I don't stop doing this, and it's too pleasurable if I keep doing it. So that's where that power comes in. Oh my God, if I don't stop doing this, this is what's going to happen. My life is going to be over. I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to this, I'm going to that. It's going to kill. I'm going to be in a hospital, whatever that is. And the pleasure is I'll be able to spend more time with my family. I'll be here for 10 extra years, whatever those things are. You have to create the pain and the pleasure. You have to create these things. Again, another good thing with having a coach is being able to talk these things through in a completely unbiased scenario. We are not going to judge you for what you're doing. We're going to help you come up with enough pain and pleasure. I can specifically think of a few people that we've sat down with in the last couple of months where pleasure has not been doing it. It's not been doing it. Why? Because we don't get what we want in life. If everybody got what they wanted, we'd all be rich, millionaires, have free time, travel all over the place. Our love lives would be great. Our family would be great. We'd have everything you want. You had whatever car you want, whatever house you want, if we got what we wanted, right? Because we don't get what we want. We can create enough pleasure to have all of the things that we want. We created all of that pleasure to have $1 million, to be able to have that. I mean, it'd be awesome. It'd be amazing. It'd be this. But why don't you have it? Because in your brain, there's enough pain going along with that as well to have that $1 million because you don't know what you do. Oh my goodness. And all of a sudden your brain becomes uncomfortable there. But pleasure doesn't do it. Pleasure doesn't get us to what we want most of the time. A lot of times we need to create enough pain in continuing to doing the things that you're doing. So that way it pushes you away from it. If you keep doing this, this is the absolute worst thing that's going to happen. And you need to believe that it's going to happen. That starts putting, oh shit, that's not, no way, no thank you, not going to happen. You know, the real dramatic sense is if I asked you, could you run 10 miles without stopping? Most of us would say no. Most of us would be like, can't do that. Why? Because it's pretty painful to run 10 miles, you know, for most of us. But if I pulled a gun out and put it to one of your children's heads and said, you better run 10 miles or I'm going to pull the trigger run 10 miles without stopping, or I'll pull the trigger. Now there's more pain associated to the other side. And you will do that thing that was painful because there's actual pleasure in doing that now because of what it means. It's too painful to not do it. So you have to start using leverage to get you to where you want to be. Then interrupt your old pattern. Your old pattern is not empowering you. Your old pattern of waking up and not doing the things you needed to do, or putting a list together of people you're going to call and sitting there for 15 minutes, tapping on the desk, grabbing your phone, scrolling through Facebook. Your old patterns are not empowering you. So create and interrupt that pattern and then create a new empowering alternative that goes with it and condition it. You know, it's not about, success is about the conditioning of something. It's not about programming. No one's going to come in and put a new program in you. Conditioning is something that takes time. So that's why I said it doesn't change overnight. You will still have days you don't want to do these things. It's not going to feel perfect. It's not going to feel right all the time, and it's okay. So you just have to think of it this way. If you don't go to the gym one time and all of a sudden that one workout is just going to last you for the rest of your life and you're going to be in amazing shape. You have to do it every day, day in, day out, working harder. And guess what? When you start if you do the same thing over and over again, guess what happens? You get to a plateau. And then you have to make some more changes. It's just, that's life. That's the beauty of life. We all have the ability to live this beautiful life and create these changes on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, and getting to these achievements, these fulfillments. But we have to commit to it. We got to build this solid foundation, put some commitments out there and start working towards it. So the last couple things, building a belief. This is more of an exercise. I'm not going to jump into that. So that's basically all that I wanted to talk about today. I really wanted to just hit home with you about this, about the story of Brett Phillips and the belief and the certainty that he had and the visualization in his goal, and he made it happen. Everything was lined up against him. Everything. He wasn't with the Rays at the beginning of this year. COVID comes in and slaps everything, slaps every major sport, everybody's business, all of these things. It comes in and makes a notch there. He didn't join the team until August. He only had less than one hit out of every 5 at-bats. He's only had 3 or 4 at-bats with the Rays. He wasn't even on the roster before the World Series started. They only added him because they were allowed to put more people on. He's the last person anybody wanted in that position. But guess what? His focus, his ambition, his drive, his knowing his outcome, knowing his reason, knowing his purpose, the work and effort that he's put in over this time and doing that over and over and over again is compounded, where that absolute certainty and belief, when they told him, pick up the bat, you're going up in this inning, you're batting 5th this inning, there was no question. It was, yep, got it, let's go to work. You saw in the beginning of the at bat when he stepped to the plate, taps his shoes, gives a good little nod like that and steps up to the plate. That's the power of belief. That's the power of certainty. That's the power of knowing your outcome. That's the power of reason and purpose. That's the power of creating a vision for what your life is. You can end up like this. We're going to be running airplanes around the parking lot of Beggins Enterprises later today if anybody wants to join me. So that's my message for today. I really appreciate you guys tuning in and listening. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I really thank you very much. Have a great day. Make today amazing. We'll talk with you soon, guys. Thank you.